Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the vertex in Aries in a natal chart. Now, the first thing is, as far as vertex in Aries goes, well, through persuasion, encouragement, coaxing of others, you may be required to show, or asked, I should say, to show leadership abilities. Yeah, about standing up for your rights. It could be about standing up for yourself more. It could even be fighting others' battles, engaging in combative situations. This could be about really being persuaded, really pulled into, you could say, into being, having more enterprise, having more initiative, taking action. This is about Vertex in Aries. You could be called upon to show fortitude, show courage. It could really be about being more aggressive, and really it could be about being asked and really encouraged to deal with sudden, intense tribulation, situations connected with disaster. It could be something like having to get, and really done in a very extemporaneous, spur of the moment type way. It could be, say, giving CPR to somebody, having to assist somebody with a gunshot wound, things of that nature. Could be even something like dealing with a computer virus at the spur of the moment and really not having that much time to analyze any situations or do much premeditation or planning for them. This is really, could also be about being encouraged to be more assertive, to be pushy if you have to. This is really, looking at this could be also dealing with situations in general that require a lot of quick action and really don't require much planning. Things where you have to take action and stand up, and also being required to lead in situations, even if you're such where you're in a subordinate or subservient role at your job. It could be where you might be asked or requested to show leadership qualities regardless. And depending on your chart, it could be easy or difficult to follow up with that. If you have a chart, say, that's really, if it's not geared toward leadership, and you have say a lot of earth and water in your chart, and you have like say you have like no fire in your chart, it might be more difficult to do so. And also about taking action really without having to wait on someone else. So this could be difficult, let's say, if you have a preponderance of planets on the right side of your chart, which would suggest or perhaps indicate more about dependency than taking action and initiative. Now, if the opposite is true, let's say you have a majority of your planets on the left side of your chart, and you have a strong, say even in fire signs, or even you have a strong Aries influence in your chart, you could be more action oriented anyway and be able to really deal with the requests of others in terms of taking action. Now, this could be, if you have, let's say your Mars is well aspected and makes predominantly good aspects, this could make it easier as well. But let's say you have predominantly negative adverse aspects to your Mars and it's strongly afflicted. And even say, the aspect like, say, Mars making an adverse aspect to your natal Neptune, this could be such where you might feel more like daydreaming than actually taking action, or even say, even Neptune in adverse aspect to the ascendant or the sun can really affect you in terms of having diminished vitality and energy, and it could be difficult in taking action when you don't have the energy, as much energy to do so. I mean, this is something, I mean, to look at. And these are things where, I mean, you look at this, it's also important to look at the house that this is in. I mean, as this could impact the delineation. I mean, let's say you have the vertex in Aries in your sixth house. This could be about being required and really encouraged by others to show leadership qualities and attributes at your place of work, regardless whether you're in a subordinate position or not, and being able to take initiative, take action on situations right away. As I stated before, an example could be, I mean, even something with a computer at work having a malicious virus and having to do something on it on the spur of the moment and try to take care of the problem, or dealing with even a situation at work that can be something that could, an accident that might happen and having to deal with it right away. Showing, I mean, courage and could be shown in leadership, can be shown in subtle ways, even if you don't have that position in your life. And let's say you have this in your seventh house, it could be about being required to stand up for a significant other and have sometimes have even confrontational situations, not necessarily outwardly combative, or I mean, they could be disputatious. Sometimes it could lead to something stronger, but this is about, I mean, if you have Vertex in Aries in the seventh, it could be about also standing up, being required, others requesting you to stand up to open adversaries and be aggressive in legal matters and take the initiative as opposed to procrastinating. Now, let's say you have, let's say like you look at this in synastry. Now, if somebody has their sun, moon, or ascendant making a conjunction to your vertex, and likely, of course, I mean, if it's conjunction, it'd be, sun, moon, or ascendant in Aries. This could be a very strong connection and perhaps ordained, fated type connection you might have. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a sexual or one where it would wind where this person would be a significant other potentially, but it could still be a strong relationship even if it's platonic. And I mean, depending on what it is, what the connection will be is dependent, of course, if it's sun, moon, or ascendant. If it's the ascendant, then you could be very well drawn to the outer characteristics that the person projects. And if it's Aries ascendant, then you might be very well drawn to the brave, the courageous and outspoken and very forthright qualities that this person, assertive qualities that is projected outwardly. If it's the moon in conjunction to someone's moon making the conjunction to your Venus, then it could be, to your vertex, then it could very well be like an unconscious, subconscious connection you might have, and attracted to maybe the emotional nature and the emotional needs, of course, of that person, being very compatible and very and drawn to your and have being connected to your vertex. And if it's the sun, you might be very well drawn to the inner part, the inside of the person. This is could be a very strong connection, but it's not instantaneous, like say the south node making a conjunction to one's sun, moon, or ascendant. This is something where it's more, where the connection might just be a little bit more unanticipated and unexpected, where you might not feel the immediate connection or feel instantaneously drawn to them, but at some point you might be it might come as almost like an epiphany. Oh, all of a sudden we're connected. Well, I really feel connected to you. So it can kind of come up at like the spur of the moment when you have one's vertex making a conjunction to the other person's sun, moon, or ascendant. Now, the thing about it is too, when you look at the vertex position, really, if you don't accentuate the potentially the positive qualities of the position, I mean, there can be some repercussions on. Now, let's say we're in this case we're talking about vertex in Aries. Well, by not, obviously not being assertive and not, through the, you could say the persuasion, the encouragement, coaxing of others, And by not expressing those qualities, being assertive and aggressive, it could be, I mean, some repercussions, of course, could be not being able to capitalize on certain things, whether it could be improving one's stature in life. And let's say, I mean, for example, if you're not like, as far as, Vertex in Aries, often being maybe persuaded to stand up for others more, if you're not doing that, then some consequences can be even being seen as weak or overly passive, and maybe by your contemporaries, by people that you know very well, people that figure prominently in your life scheme, and you might lose, as far as your, how you're seen as far as your character is, and your credibility might go down with those people because of that. So it is, I mean, it's important perhaps to follow others coaxing and what they're encouraging you to do in connection with your vertex placement, but at the same time remember that it doesn't have to dominate your life scheme, because you also have to do things for yourself. The anti-vertex in the chart, of course, is about, I mean, really it's more about generating your own, basically your own fate, as opposed to others maybe dictating it maybe for you in terms of the actual vertex placement. So anyway, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for the Vertex in Aries. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be talking about the Vertex in Taurus. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.